Hello everybody and welcome to Mitosis, my intricate thoughts on stuff I've seen. Or shit I've seen. You be the judge. So it's been a while since I've done one of these. WrestleMania, I think. When The Undertaker lost his streak. I've been meaning to do more of these, but to be honest, keeping up with the co-ops and the wrestling podcast and just life in general has made it a little bit difficult to do so. But this one really, I really felt like I needed to give my opinions on. First off, I apologize for my setup looking kind of dodgy as shit. That's kind of what I've got to work with right now. I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this. Like Spoonie hate. Like X-Pac heat. This was your savior movie? This was Spider-Man Homecoming. The Spider-Man movie to end all Spider-Man movies. You know, Tobey Maguire was good at the Peter, but not good at the Spider. And Andrew Garfield was good at the Spider, but not so much the Peter. And now we've got Tom Holland. And again, I have no problem with Tom Holland. Great Spider-Man. Dorky enough to be Peter, but funny enough and brave enough to be Spider-Man. So explain to me why Spider-Man... Spoilers abound, by the way, if you guys haven't seen a Mitosis video. Explain to me why he does not win a single fight in this movie. A single fight. He doesn't stop the bank robbers. He doesn't even beat Vulture. Vulture beats Vulture. And Spider-Man just kind of ties him up. He doesn't win a single fight in this movie. In fact, he plays second fiddle to Iron Man pretty much throughout the entire movie. I would normally go scene by scene with this, but I'm just going to kind of take you through some themes of this film. So first of all, Aunt May is in her mid-30s and really hot. Just in case you've ever wanted a really hot Aunt May. She's not 80 years old and constantly on the brink of death like she is in the previous movies or the comics or the video games or any other Spider-Man material ever. So there's that. Spider-Man's girlfriend or crush in this movie is not Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. It's Liz. Some chick named Liz. She's smart. I know that much about her. She's a decathlete. So we got some really tense, will he make the decathlete tournament on time, or will he instead attempt to save multiple lives? It's a really tense scene, and by that I mean my asshole was clenched to the point where I could have produced diamonds from my turds. So what is this movie? For those of you, all 6 of you, that have not seen Avengers Civil War, Spider-Man has a cameo appearance where he is called in by Tony Stark, who has heard of his deeds. He swings in and he steals Captain America's shield, which not only do they show him stealing Captain America's shield, that whole scene, about 3 times in the movie, but they mention it about 4 more times in the movie. So if you didn't know, he stole his shield. All for the brief fucking moment he did that. And he helped during the Civil War. Afterwards, he was promptly told by Tony Stark to go home and sit in a corner. I'll call you when I need you. Don't call us, we'll call you. Basically, everything you've ever heard from a job interview gone wrong, we'll call you. And of course, he never does. But Peter leaves multiple messages with him and his assistant, Happy. Just remember that this is leading up to Infinity War. We've got a dude named Happy. He's a big tubby fella. It's funny. But you leave the wisecracking to Spider-Man. It's supposed to be his thing. And he does. He does, make multiple wisecracks throughout the movie, and they're very funny. Again, I have no problem with the acting in this movie. It's quite well done. Tom Holland really gets into the character. I love it. There has to be some positives to this, right? So yeah, Tony Stark basically says, quiet little boy, sit in the corner. We're not going to train you with that school that we totally had training new superheroes at the end of Civil War. We're not going to use that to train a new superhero. We're just going to tell you to go the fuck home and do your math homework. You little prick. So, of course, because there's no origin story, there's no Uncle Ben. There's no, with great power comes great responsibility. The most prolific line in Spider-Man history. This could have been uttered by Tony, or maybe in a flashback to Uncle Ben. But this is never once talked about. In fact, had Spider-Man pretty much sat on his ass and did nothing the entire movie, I don't know what would have happened. So Peter realizes, basically through a fluke, that these guys who were kicked out of a mining facility, or not a mining facility, but like a salvage group, they were kicked out and saying basically that Stark Industries took over the salvage group because it's alien technology, and we really ought not to let people who don't understand this stuff fuck with it. Because, some of these things, when exposed to nuclear radiation, as established in the movie, turn into bombs. But the guy's like, no, I have he turns into Heath Slater. He's like, I got kids. Man, I got a kid. I got a kid and a wife. I got a future. Go to a different salvage site. There's always wreckage, my dude. There's... once you're done in the salvage site, it's not like you're unemployed. You're off this site. You've still got a job. Or was this, only for the one site, and you just had no plans after this? No transferable skills. No work in construction, or, reconnaissance. Or maybe contact Tony Stark or one of his associates and say, you know, you're laying off a lot of people here. Do you have any plans? Multi-billionaire Tony Stark. Just a thought. But no, instead, Michael Keaton, my God, is this man amazing. He's just so into this bullshit character. Michael Keaton plays the main bad guy in this, who decides instead that he's going to pocket the glowing super bomb and form like a black market gang to sell these weapons made with this alien technology that have been proven in the movie to vaporize human beings, fuck with gravity, like burn through metal like a goddamn lightsaber. He's going to sell these out, and he has been selling these out. And no one, this again also established in the movie, blatantly said this has not attracted the attention of media outlets, local police, or the goddamn Avengers. Now I get it. They're kind of doing their own thing. Thor and Hulk at the moment are, you know, off on their own planet. They're dealing with Jeff Goldblum and his shit, and, you know, Hela's doing her thing. What is Stark doing? What is Rogers? I guess Steve's doing his thing. But, like, there's so many people. What's Falcon doing? Fuck all in a side of chips, I'll tell you that for free. And I actually know for a fact that Iron Man's not doing anything, because he appears multiple times in this movie to be the main character. Spider-Man plays second fiddle to Iron Man through this entire movie, through Spider-Man Homecoming. But the movie is not mostly about this heist. It's about his relationship with this girl. But he can't go to the decathlete thing because, he might get called by Tony. He really wants to be called by Tony. He's informing Tony and Happy about, God, his name is Happy, about everything that is going on, and getting no response. In fact, multiple times getting hung up on by Agent Happy. And then there's a cruise ship scene where he finally tracks down Michael Keaton. He's got all the sellers and everybody in one area, and he catches them. He has a great fight that he fucking loses because everybody gets away, and the FBI, you know, on your knees, Spider-Man, guy who has clearly been shown throughout this entire movie to fight bad guys, is clearly the one doing the wrong thing. And the gun that Vulture is using lands in an awkward position. And when I say awkward, I mean conveniently awkward. So that it goes off and splits the entire ship in half. Perfectly. If you've got an OCD for symmetry, man, you've got a mile-long fucking hard-on. Because it cuts the ship perfectly in half. So Spider-Man, at this point in time, he's hacked the suit to turn off the training wheels protocol. Tony Stark intentionally holding back a bunch of things that Peter could be using in his suit because he hasn't completed the training wheels protocol session that Tony in no way attempted to actually have him complete. So I guess he was just putting this restrictor on Peter and never intended to lift it. Unless, I guess, he was bored one day. And he was like, oh shit, I might as well help that Peter kid. Sure hope him and his aunt aren't dead. But he hacks into it, and he removes the tracker that's on it, and he removes the training wheels protocol, and gets access to basically his own, like, version of the chick that's in Tony's suit. And he names her Karen. Good old Karen. So I say this because he uses Karen to find all of the hardest, like, the most secure parts of the ship, and web them all together using his web grenades and his split web and all these different cool things that he has. But he was only 98% complete. Okay. Faulty programming there, Tony. Because he's only going off of your programming. So, 98%. Which is apparently not good enough to keep the ship intact. And it just fucking starts breaking. But luckily, Iron Man is there. Iron Man is there. And he just pushes the ship together with, like, rocket magnets. I mean, way to make Peter's web shooters look, like, plausible by comparison. You have little tiny, like, about the size of my camera lens cap, rocket magnets that just hold the ship together. Okay. So, they go to a rooftop or something, and they start talking, and he's like, I tried to tell you about these guys, and Tony Stark is like, well, yeah, I know that. Who do you think sent the FBI agents? Oh, yeah? Oh, that's rich. That's rich, Tony. You sent the FBI agents, huh? So, why were they not told not to point their fucking guns at Spider-Man when Spider-Man gave them the fucking intel? But you know what? Set that aside. Set that aside. You couldn't give Peter a call? You couldn't have left a message. You couldn't have gotten one of your many servants at Stark Towers to just give him a call and be like, sup, Tony got your message. We're making plans as we speak. We'll keep you updated. Keep us updated. You know, we have a plan. We need you on standby. How long was that in the video that I took to say that message? Because Tony couldn't take like 12 seconds out of his day to message Peter, to send him a fucking Facebook message, send him a text. You got your message, bro. Sending bitches out now. And Peter wouldn't have gone. A quick text. And none of this would have happened. So, all those people that could have died are fucking on you, Tony. You dick. They very quickly turned Tony Stark from a character who was like an anti-hero, and he was snarky, and he was really cool, like Jack Sparrow, but like techno Jack Sparrow, to just absolutely a reprehensible character. Just irredeemable. Not only do you basically become a supervillain in your own movie, but you are almost single-handedly responsible for everything that happens, everything negative that happens in Spider-Man Homecoming. So, I'm getting carried away. But one of the things that really pissed me off about this movie is that when Spider-Man is originally transforming into his suit, he does so in an alleyway in broad daylight. You know, just strips down to his underwear in the middle of an alley. Anybody could see him. Like, anybody could just look down an alleyway because they wanna. And see him transforming into Spider-Man. You know, one step up from Superman's fucking phone booth. And then he webs... This is the one that got me. He webs his backpack to the wall. He does this like twice in the movie. He just webs his backpack to the wall. Now, you see, this is because when he comes back to get his clothes, he can also grab his backpack. Has all his, like, math homework in it, right? So you can't really forget about that. Despite the fact that he's intentionally slipping through school and has essentially given up on everything in his life besides being Spider-Man. Because the whole, you know, with great power becomes great responsibility is not a thing in this movie. There's no one to teach him that. Because Aunt May is not in this movie enough. She's there to worry. And worry does she. And get hit on by a creepy Asian waiter. That scene was weird. But it happened. God, did it ever happen. This movie happened to me. So he webs his backpack to the wall. Okay, everybody think back to high school, right? 15. 10th grade. I mean, I'm speaking from a Canadian's perspective, but, you know, you're in the middle of high school. How many things in your backpack have your full name? Maybe any names of parents or guardians that live with you. Maybe even your address and phone number. At the very least, there are multiple textbooks and notebooks in there that have your full name. And your school schedule. Locker number. The names of your crush, if he writes that in his little fucking notebook. Anybody who's doing some sort of back alley coke deal could find this backpack webbed to a wall and been like, oh shit, it's the Spider-Man. Let's look in the backpack and find out his name. Then we'll kidnap him and his aunt. Game over. I think I'm starting to run out of battery power, so I'm going to start to speed this up. Homecoming happens. Finally, in Spider-Man Homecoming. And he's taking Liz. He asks her, and she says yes. Oh, great. So he goes to her house, and her dad is Michael Keaton. This is so fucking convenient. Oh no, it's Michael Keaton. Which nobody would have guessed because, okay, I get it. Yes, a black and white parent can produce a black child. But one would typically think, you know, black child, black parents. Not so. No. Her dad is Michael Keaton. And this is believable. And while they're in the car ride to Homecoming, they have the most convenient conversation. Oh yeah, he's got an internship with Stark. And he knows Spider-Man. Oh yeah, he actually really knows Spider-Man. Despite the fact that, you know, Spider-Man never showed up at her party, the one thing that was the clear defining factor to whether he was lying or not, but she still believes him. Enough to state out loud in the car, oh yeah, he knows Spider-Man. And he's like, really? I feel like I know your voice. Huh. That's interesting. Despite the fact that it is clearly shown in the movie, that the suit has the ability to mask his voice. And he never does this, except for once in the movie, when he's dealing with a very particularly nice criminal. And he's like, I will do anything to protect my family. Don't go near my daughter. Don't mess with my shit again, or I will kill you. And he specifically leads Peter to, like, a warehouse in the abandoned buildings district where they film all the battle scenes for Power Rangers. And he gets his suit to fly around. And by the way, he is never once referred to as the Vulture. So unless you're a comic book fan, and I'm not, I was told by a coworker that he was the Vulture. But unless you know that, he's the Vulture, by the way. He's never once referred to as that. Only at the end of the movie, Peter writes on a note, by the way, caught the flying vulture guy. He's a vulture, by the way. I saw big black wings. I'd have thought hawk? Or raven? I mean, vulture, again, sure, but... Sure. And then the final battle with him, he gets his ass kicked. He never once even mounts discernible offense. He's picked up, but he has little talons. He has little talons on his feet that he uses to pick Peter up and just repeatedly fucking curb stomp him into the ground. But because his wings are faulty, he tries to fly off with the cargo and he just fucking explodes. And then Peter saves him and then webs him to the thing. And then Stark and Happy show up at the end of the movie and they're like, oh god, we fucked up. We fucked up huge. You want to be an Avenger? Because you probably should be. You have a better track record with cleaning up your own mistakes than we do. And Peter's like, nah, I've seen your track record. I'm good. I'm just gonna be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Roll credits. The ending credits stinger is a Captain America PSA video that says you're wasting your fucking time. Thanks, Cap. I knew that about the midway portion of this movie. But even the ending credits stinger insults your fucking intelligence. Just a blurb. Spider-Man will return. Don't fucking threaten me. So is there anything good about this movie? Yes. Every side character. Again, Tom Holland, great. I hope I get to see him more as Spider-Man with a competent fucking writing team. There's a girl who is just indifferent throughout this entire movie, just does not give a shit about anything, and she's my favorite character in this movie. Oh, and by the way, her name is Michelle, but her friends call her MJ. MJ. You get it? Like Mary Jane, except she's not Mary Jane, but they just call her MJ. I guess she'll be Spider-Man's new love interest now. He's moved on from one black girl to another black girl, despite both of his love interests in the comic books being a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady and a white ginger. But we're trying to be all-inclusive. Okay? It's such a contrast. Oh my god, this movie sucked. This movie sucked. The actors were trying way too damn hard in this movie. Because this was not competently written by anybody. Spider-Man's an idiot, and he's a bitch, and he's second fiddle. Hey, sorry for the quick cut there. I just had to remove some files off of my shit. I was just summarizing, basically. Spider-Man's a bitch in his own movie. No one is similar at all to any of their comic counterparts. Just absolutely one of the most horribly written movies. It just makes everybody look like an asshole. Everybody. Going into this movie, everybody said it was going to be the hypest shit. Like, this is a really, really good movie. You should see it. I think I should lead with this at Con Bravo if I get approved for our Unpopular Opinions panel again this year. Because I don't just not like this movie. This movie pissed me off. Next up is Black Panther in the lead-up of movies I need to watch before Infinity War. I really hope Black Panther's good. I really do. I've heard mixed reviews. And that usually bodes well. This movie sucked, guys. I'm sorry. It really did. It wasn't good. It's like the Iron Man neglection movie guest starring Peter Parker. Aren't you happy this series came back? I might record a Mitosis video as well for Black Panther if I am so inclined to do so. If it's either so bad or so good that it warrants talking about. But I just had to get my opinions across on this because this movie sucked. I've got nothing else to say. I've been bitching about the movie this entire time. I'm going to cut these videos into a nice, neat little package and get them up on YouTube for you guys. But again, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie in the comment section down below. What movies maybe you think I should see next that you would like my opinions for. There's quite a bit of movies I've never seen before that are like kind of classics, I guess. Things like Atlantis, the animated movie Atlantis I've never seen. The first Rescuers movie I saw like last year. I've never seen Rescuers Down Under. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's better than the original. Yeah, just let me know. Let me know if you're happy to see Mitosis come back. I'm happy to record it. I'm happy that a movie has got me this opinionated. Because I've just been so bored. It's just been really good to see a movie that was worth talking about. But that was Mitosis, my intricate thoughts on stuff I've seen. And until I see something again, these lips are sealed.